Hi guys, this is Zodiac Blac. Sorry I'm getting sick, but I'm doing a contour on beginners highlighting and contouring, and the program that I'm going to be using is Procreate. The first thing that I'm doing is I'm making a layer, and the layer is going to be an overlay layer, and I'm going to be using only two colors, black and white. Now you could use any tool for your paintbrush. In the beginning I start out using a paint tool, and then I move on to kind of like a soft spray paint tool. And all that I'm doing is I'm just adding darkness where darkness would exist on your Avakin as you see it. You always want to try to remember where your light source is. So I'm going to be pretending that the light source is kind of like above her, but also kind of shining on her, but it's mostly coming from above. So that way all of your shadows stay consistent. This is obviously not the way that I do this anymore, but it's the way that I started out doing it, and I think that it really helped me learn how to take this a step further and continue on in a different way with it. Now as you can see, the contouring is a little on the orangey side, which is okay, maybe that is what you want, but you can also change that later on, which is fine. See, I'm kind of demonstrating that you can change it. I'm going to end up changing it back because if I change her face now, what's going to happen is anything that I do from now on is going to be orangey still. So I'm going to do it all, and then later on, towards the end, I'm going to go back and adjust the color. Now you kind of just want to add shadows where they exist. Like I said, this is just for beginners, so I'm not going to be doing anything crazy like drawing noses or full-on doing abs or anything like that. Not that I especially like doing abs anyway. That's not my style. I'm not like the body yaddy yaddy editor. But as you see, this is Aqua, and I am using her cutout because I had one of her laying around and I couldn't get on Avakin Life, so sorry Aqua, but yeah, isn't she pretty? So, oh yes, what I did after that is, I don't know if it showed it, but see that darker black under her chin? What I did was I made another layer, and it's a hard light layer, and I'm also using black on that as well. So I have two different shadow layers. One's a contrast layer, and then the other one is a hard light layer. And the reason why I'm doing that is because there's some stuff that's gonna need to look a little bit more shadowy and less like a skin tone color, and so that's the reason why I'm doing that. Although you can skip this part, you can full on just do the overlay layer only, and it will be totally fine. But this just adds another little layer of dimension, and it's not hard to do. Just make sure that you remember which is your hard light layer and which is your overlay layer. Here on the legs right there, I'm using the overlay layer. You just want to also, like, the second most important thing that you need to remember is to blend. If you are not blending your contour, it does not look good. You can act like that's your style or whatever, but there's always going to be somebody that's clocking you if you are not blending your contour. I feel like blending your highlight is optional. That can be like a stylistic thing, but you have to blend your contour. You cannot just have like a red orange line just sitting on somebody's face like that. It is not proper. Also, don't forget to do the other parts of the body. You know, it's not just about the face. It's about everything, even the boring stuff, like, you know, adding shadows to the clothing, etc. Yeah, so what I'm doing here is I'm even going in further and detailing the face a little bit. I'm going to add some shadows and stuff to the face. I believe that right there, that's what I'm using as my hard light layer. It was beneath the lip right there. And let's see, I'm trying to figure out what I did. I'm doing this voiceover in post-production. Oh yeah, the clothes. I feel like a lot of people forget to put shadows in the clothing. Like I said, this is not nearly as detailed as I normally would do. This edit probably took me, I want to say like 22 minutes or something like that to fully complete. Obviously it's sped up a lot, so that way I can do this little tutorial. Shout out to my True Royal Dragon sisters, who are the reason why I'm doing this video, and my sister, Seiji. Yeah, and so what I'm doing right there is I'm adjusting the color of the contour, and you can do that two different ways. You can use the regular color selector or hue selector to change it, or I used a more advanced tool because I have that on my editing program. By the way, I'm gonna hear a lot of people saying, oh, I don't have Procreate, I can't do this, which is totally untrue. You can do this with almost any photo editor, sketchbook, to some degree. You can do it with PixArt, but with PixArt there is no good blending tool. I would say that's the only drawback to it, but you can still use the technique of using the overlay layer, to two different layers, one for contour and one for highlight. See, now I'm doing the highlights. All I'm doing is I made an overlay layer again, the same way that I did for the contour, and I'm only using white. I only use two colors on this, white and black. I don't use any other colors because that's all you need for the basic editor. And as you see, I'm choosing to blend my highlight. That is my personal preference and my aesthetic, that the highlight be blended, but if you wanted to be really extra, you could just blob it on there. Just be careful, because too much highlight can go real bad real quick, just like in real life, girls. You know what I'm talking about. And as you see, I'm not neglecting the rest of the body or the clothing, because with the highlight you're also backing up your light source, and like I said, it's on top of her, so she's gonna need some brightness on top of her shoulders and her arms. So that's what I'm doing. All that I'm doing is I'm applying the light, the white part, and I'm going in and I'm just refining it through blending it throughout. And then if I get outside of the Avakin, I'm just using my erase tool to go in and fix that, like this. See right there, I just blob it right on, and you know that's not right, so I'm gonna blend that out a little bit, and then I'm gonna go in with my erase tool. I get a little erase happy sometimes, and I just, you know, I'm just gonna erase that right off of there. And the hands look a little bit washed out, so I do remember that I go through and just kind of fix that. As you see, I also didn't really prep my Avakin. Normally I do a lot of prep work where I erase any pixelation and fix all those jaggedy lines. Like I said, I was just trying to make this tutorial really quickly, so I didn't bother doing any of that. Once I cut her out, I just kind of started going for it. But if you wanted to take it a step further and do some more advanced stuff, feel free to use your smudge tool and your erase tool to get rid of some of those jagged lines and every single little drop of green. That's what I usually do. It doesn't have to be perfect, because later on I'm going to go through and make kind of a glow effect on her where it's going to cover up some of the imperfections. As you see, I noticed that her legs were not blended super properly, so I went in and re-blended them, and now I'm adding the light source on there, and I'm going in and I'm fixing any little things that are kind of not really properly blended, because you're going to be smacking yourself later when you post it and you see those unblended things, and you're going to be like, why didn't I take that extra second to look at it and make sure that everything was blended? See, I'm just adding little extra highlights and stuff. See, she's starting to look really pretty. Now the only thing that I use a regular layer for that wasn't an overlay layer or a hard light layer is just to make these little dots, these white dots in the eyes. And then what I'm doing is I'm just making a copy of the cutout and filling it in with the color, and then I go in and I use Gaussian blur to kind of make a glow effect. You can make shadows like that too, it's really easy. That thing that says Aqua, which is her name, was imported. I used a text editor, and then I cut it out in another program and I just added it into Procreate, and then I made a text shadow for it. And then I added a little Gaussian blur to that and merged the two layers together. And then I kind of made it a little bit more opaque. Not opaque, you know, the opposite of opaque. Sorry, I'm sick. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna try to do more videos like this in the future. And thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Goodbye.